What is up, everyone? Welcome to Reality Room Podcast. So, just a quick update for you guys. Chris is currently at his sister's wedding, so he won't be around for this video. He will be back for the next one, which we will be shooting either Sunday night or Monday. So, expect that either on Monday or Tuesday. So, I'm just going to give you a quick update on what's been going on in the Big Brother house. Sorry for if this has any bad quality. I'm shooting it on my iPad because Chris is the one that has most of the camera equipment. So just a quick update on what's been going on in episodes 22 and 23, which aired this Wednesday and Thursday respectively. So this Wednesday we saw the veto being played and the veto ceremony. So the episode started with Ramsey and Maddie both being put up on the block. So obviously they're a little distraught by this. They expected for Jared and Kelsey to be put on the block, and they're a little upset with the brothers because they feel a little betrayed. Maddie's pretty sure she's going home. Ramsey's like crying because he's a very sensitive person. He doesn't know what's going on in the house right now. So that's basically what's been going on with those two. So and then right after that we have Ramsey getting his news from home that his father had a heart attack, and he's obviously very distraught about that. We kind of see like this great rallying around in the house, which I thought was just very fantastic. It really humanizes the people in the house. It really shows them that they care about Ramsey, they care about each other, so that when a tragedy does pass, it really does. They really show their emotions, and they really show him their support, and really make them feel like their friendship is stronger than the entire game itself. So it was just really nice to see that. So then they had the veto was being played, and basically the goal of the veto was they had to look at the screen, and they saw people wearing clothes, and they showed two separate pictures, and in the two separate pictures they had one house guest who had a change of clothes. So they had to find who that house guest was, and then they had a line of clothes there, and they had to find the clothing that the new house guest was wearing, and they had to throw it into a basket. And if they missed it, they had to go in this spinning thing for a few minutes. I don't know, it was a little bizarre. But anyway, Ramsey demolished the competition. I mean, demolished. He got first place. He really showed he came to play the game, even though tragedy just had fallen him. He was still there to play, still there to show the house guest what he got. So he won the veto. After he won the veto, they showed some very interesting things with him. He actually decided to leave the game. As all of you already know, we mentioned this in the last episode breakdown. So he decided to leave the game, and everyone was rallying around him again, showing him their support. And he decided that he wanted to be with his father, which everyone at home respects, everyone in the game respects. It's a very tough time, so obviously he wants to be home with his family during this time. So just give a round of applause to Ramsey. So way to go, buddy. So next, back to the game talk, we showed Tim talking to the brothers. So Tim talked to the brothers, and he was trying to negotiate them using, they knew Ramsey was going to be off the blocks, so they had to put up a replacement nominee. So that's how the system kind of worked. Because Ramsey won the veto and he left, they were going to consider it that he used the veto on himself. So, for all intents and purposes, Ramsey was using the veto on himself. So, Tim was trying to rally to the brothers to get Jared on the block. And I think this is a really good move, but for some reason, the brothers were just not having it. So, for some reason, they were seeing Tim as more of a bigger threat than Jared at this time, which, in my opinion, at this point, they're both in duos, so I don't think it really matters which one of the two he was targeting, but I think the brothers should have realized that maybe putting Jared on the block, he had a greater chance of going home than Tim. So that's just something I just wanted to point out there. So anyway, the veto ceremony goes up, and the brothers ultimately decide to put Tim on the block because beforehand, after the brothers reacted negatively to Tim suggesting Jared, Tim volunteered to go on the block. Just to show that he could survive on the block no matter what. So that's what he thought at the time. So let's jump right into the next episode, which was aired on Thursday, the eviction. So at this time, Maddie is feeling very distraught. She just had her closest ally in the game essentially leave. And that's got to be like an emotion, a very like emotional thing, like her closest ally and her best friend and I guess kind of romantic partner in a way. I don't know how I don't know how they're classifying that right now, but had her. But he left the game, and she's feeling emotionally distraught, especially because he just went through something very tragic in his life, and she doesn't know what's going on with him. She doesn't know what's going to happen to her in this game. So she goes up to the brothers and she's like, "Listen, I'm all alone in this game now. So if I stay, I'm going to need people to work with, basically." And she doesn't see any way how she can stay. Like she's saying, she's on like bought time right now. Following the eviction ceremony, she thinks she's going to leave. And personally, I think this is a very reasonable thing to think at this time, because the way the game is, everyone in the house is kind of against Maddie. But almost, if you think about it, having Ramsey leave was almost like a small blessing for her, because she is by herself now, so she did have a chance to stay if the house was to be convinced that Tim is a bigger threat than her, which arguably he might be, and she tries to make those points later on, and I'll get to that in a little bit. So the brothers tell Maddie, "Listen, if you stay this week, we want to work with you, and as of right now, we want Tim out of the game." So the brothers pretty much flat out say they want Tim out of the game, and they want Maddie to stay. So Maddie kind of goes around like this, trying to convince the house guest that she should stay. She's saying that Tim is playing everyone in the house, has final two deals with everyone. Tim has always been saying that he doesn't want to win the game. Maddie's acknowledging that that's bullshit, because it is bullshit, and I don't know anyone could possibly think Tim doesn't want to win the game. And the house guests are like, "Oh yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense." But regardless of the campaigning that has been done by Maddie, and Tim was even acknowledging that there was very, very good campaigning, like very, very impressive. Like I was, like personally when I saw it, I was very impressed with Maddie's campaigning, and if I was in the house, I probably would have voted Tim out, like even with the limited knowledge that I would have had in the house rather than watching from outside, because she was just very convincing to me personally. So other than that, let's talk a little bit about the eviction ceremony. So the eviction ceremony came about, and okay, actually before the eviction ceremony, Arisa brings Ramsey back and has him talk to the house guests that are inside, and he says that everything's going on well with his family. His father had a successful surgery, although there was a few complications, he says, which he's in our hearts right now, so we hope everything goes okay. He pulls through. Both Chris and I have both been trying to keep on track with everything with that, but we're glad to hear that the surgery itself was successful, and we're hoping that we're hoping that he pulls through 100%. So Ramsey lets the house guests know about that, and they're all relieved, of course, because it's not good to be in like a secluded house, not having access to this kind of information. That's pretty imperative, because it's probably on their mind a lot. They're probably like, I wonder how Ramsey's doing, I wonder how his dad's doing. So for them to get that information before the eviction ceremony, I thought was very, very good of Big Brother Canada to do. So we have the eviction go about, and it was unanimous against Maddie. And what's very surprising to me is that they actually, because Maddie's alone in this game. So you have to understand that when someone's alone in this game, they're almost like a free agent. Although Maddie's kind of had questionable trust in the past, so maybe they saw it like that. But if I was in the house, and I'm sure if you were in the house too, just through game purposes, you very likely would have voted Tim out, because Tim is a bigger target. He has a better chance of getting to the end, and Maddie has made that point before. I was very, very impressed. Again, very impressed with Maddie's campaigning. But so it was just very surprising that Maddie was the one to leave. Although, yeah, maybe not. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. So that was episode 23, I believe. So Maddie ended up leaving, and then they had the HOH comp, which apparently had to do with the family members or whatnot catching like rocks or something, or I don't remember the exact instance. I think it was like just push a button when 1,000 rocks fall, because they were all like up somewhere and they had rocks falling from the sky, and they had to like push a button when a certain amount fell down. So and every house guest had a certain family member fighting for them, which was pretty interesting, I guess. So anyway, a little spoiler because this is we're airing. I'm gonna have this uploaded Saturday night. So Sunday. So we won't know. We won't see the HOH until Sunday. But the person who won HOH, and this is a spoiler. So if you guys don't want spoilers, just exit out now. So the person who won the HOH is Cassandra. That's right. So Cassandra can't win a competition by herself. She has to have her family do it for her, which it's just a little funny thing that I feel. So Cassandra's in power this week, and that's really, really big for her. So if you guys think about it prospectively right now, she has been playing a very, very good game right up until this point. Not a lot of people see her as a threat because she can't really win comps. She has played a huge role in every eviction up until this point. She's always tried to either flip a vote, and whether it's successful or not, because you can argue that Mitch was more successful when he tried to do it, but Cassandra has always been very, very vocal in the house. It has a lot of very tight relationships, especially with Tim and Joel, and the brothers too, surprisingly. So Cassandra's won HOH, and the two people she has nominated are the brothers and Nikki. So if you guys remember from last week, we talked a little bit about how Cassandra and Tim kind of agreed to go after Nikki. However, for all intents and purposes, I don't believe she's the target this week. So the way Cassandra was talking about it, I think the target's more up in the air. I think it depends on how the veto comes about. But she talked about how Jared was a possible target and how she probably wants to target the brothers more. I don't know, it's a very confusing week on who the target is, but it's looking right now that the brothers are the target. And the reason why the brothers are the target is because, they're kind of working with Jared and Kelsey right now. So it makes sense to go after the brothers. But in my personal opinion, it makes more sense to go after Jared, because Jared's going to win if he makes it to Final 2, but who asked me anyway, right? Whatever. Anyway, so the brothers are up on the block with Nikki, and if they don't win veto, if they don't win veto, I think they will be gone. And whether or not that's a good move or not, well, I don't think it's a good move. I'm just going to be flat out honest with you. So some live feed stuff that's happened recently. Haven't had a lot of time to look at it, but apparently Kelsey basically just flat out told Cassandra and Tim that if they go after the brothers, that Kelsey and Jared will go after Tim and Cassandra next week. And I was just like, well, I mean, you were gonna go after them anyway because they'll be like the only people left. I mean, it was just mind-boggling to me, like this conversation Kelsey was having. And apparently Kelsey thinks she can beat Jared in the Final 2. I was just like, oh my god. Well, the things that have been happening this week. And Tim just had this brilliant statement where he said, yeah, if I was in the Final 2 with Jared, I would feel fine losing because Jared's just a great guy. And I'm sitting there like, are these people retarded? Come on! Think about it. Why the hell would you have Jared in the Final 2? If Cassandra was smart this week, if Jared doesn't win veto, because he is playing in the veto, so if if Cassandra and Tim were smart this week, they would backdoor Jared, although it wouldn't technically be a backdoor because he played in the veto, but they would put him up as a replacement nominee. So in my personal opinion, that would be the best move for Tim and Cassandra to do right now. So that's all I have for live feed updates right now. Again, let me know what you guys think below. Again, I apologize for the poor quality. Chris will be back with his very, very nice camera scheme, and we'll have a little discussion. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about these two episodes too when he gets back. I haven't decided yet, but let's congratulate Chris on Chris's sister on his wedding. So everyone just give a like for that. Yeah. And also, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really means a lot when you guys like, comment, and subscribe. It really shows us that you guys appreciate what we're doing here. It shows us that that you agree with us, maybe disagree with us. Whatever it is. It's just nice to see the support from you guys. So this has been Reality Room Podcast with just Paul today. So until next time, guys. Peace out.